Every time we reach for our favorite takeout or unwrap a quick meal, there's a chance we're coming into contact with PFAS, the so-called forever chemicals. Often lurking in food packaging, these substances can make their way into our bodies through the food we eat or the water we drink. Today we are diving into the world of PFAS in packaging and how ZeroF is tackling this issue. From grease-proof pizza boxes to water-resistant sandwich wraps, PFAS compounds are often used to keep food fresher and prevent leaks. But these same chemical properties that make PFAS so useful also pose significant health risks. Epidemiological studies have found that exposure to certain PFAS chemicals can harm health, causing problems like weakened immune and thyroid function, liver disease, kidney disease, reproductive and developmental issues, and potential connections to certain types of cancer. It's pretty alarming, but most people worldwide already have PFAS in their blood, and they can stay in the body for years, which means that even being exposed to a small amount over time could still lead to long-term health problems. The environmental story is equally worrying when packaging coated in PFAS ends up in landfills, or when PFAS-laden water runs off into rivers and lakes. These chemicals persist and spread. They can contaminate water sources, which eventually impacts entire ecosystems and us. Research shows that PFAS primarily enters our body through ingestion. It's not just from food packaging, but also from contaminated water, and fish, and other animals. Since packaging is so closely linked to what we consume, it is a big concern. So how do we ensure that the PFAS-free coatings in ZeroF's packaging pilots won't cause similar issues? This is where the Luxembourg Institute of Science and Technology comes into action.
So my name is Panayotis Sigonis. I work at the Luxembourg Institute of Science and Technology. I'm a research and technology associate, and my role in ZeroF project is to coordinate the activities related to the application of the Safe and Sustainable by Design framework for the production of the PFAS-free alternatives of ZeroF. So the Safe and Sustainable by Design framework is an initiative of the European Commission. It has been developed by the Joint Research Centre a few years ago, and it is meant to guide the innovation processes to follow the principle of safety and sustainability throughout the development of products, and not after the innovation process have already taken place. Now within ZeroF we actually try to take all the guidelines from the Commission on the applicability of the framework and assess first the safety of the products that ZeroF intends to produce, at the same time the sustainability, environmental sustainability of those products, and at the third step, with the help of other partners, also the socioeconomic aspects. And we try to do that in an iterative way, systematically, so that we can support the design of the PFAS-free alternatives of ZeroF from the beginning until the end.
Let's take one of ZeroF's concrete examples to better understand this framework. You produce food packaging and want to find alternatives to PFAS to keep your product fresh. How does ZeroF exactly ensure safety at every step using this framework? Let's call Elise Morel from Temasol.
So, within ZeroF, we first ensure that the material and associated substance meets a safety standard fixed by European regulation, and particularly in the case of food packaging, the Food Contact Material EU regulation. For the hazard and safety consideration, we try to have an holistic approach where we evaluate the risks for the people and for the environment posed by the PFAS alternatives from their production to their end of life, so disposal. First, we conduct an hazard assessment that helps us to identify if the PFAS alternative materials, but also the substance used for their production or the byproducts of their degradation, kind of lead to an harmful effects, and if yes, at what dose. So like that, we can move to the second step where we evaluate the exposure potential, like can people likely be exposed to the doses of those substances that can be harmful. We test these materials with different scenarios, like, for example, different type of food, different time of contact of the coating with the food, and that's using models, but also real-world experiments to really make sure that there is no health risk, either for the producer, the worker synthesizing the alternatives, the consumer, or the environment.
So aside from testing how well the coatings repel grease and water for optimal performance, as we discussed in the last video, our top priority is ensuring the materials are safe for human health and the environment at different life stages of the product. PFAS in food packaging is more than a technical challenge. It's a public health concern and an environmental threat. By using the safe and sustainable by design approach, ZeroF ensures that any new material undergoes thorough testing to verify its safety and sustainability. In our next video, we will explore how sustainable practices go hand in hand with safety when phasing out PFAS. Because replacing PFAS isn't only about safety for our health, but also about how sustainable it is for the environment. Join us in our next video where we will discover the sustainable side of this journey.